I eat raw liver. Oh my gosh, that's so gross. Alright you guys, so if you've been with me for a while watching this channel, you know that I am a carnivore. I've been a carnivore for a very long time now, probably just over 4 years. But who's counting? It seems like yesterday when I started. I initially started carnivore due to health, just like any other diet that I've tried. I've tried them all, trust me. I've even been a vegan, and nothing has worked. This is the only diet that I've ever been able to really stick with and have it work. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not even really a diet. It is a vital lifestyle for me. The reason why I'm doing this video is A, it's cold outside and I really don't want to go play outside today. And so I thought I would like do something in the kitchen. And B, I haven't done a carnivore video in quite some time on this channel. And C, I have been wanting to do a video for a while about organ meats because there's a huge controversy in the carnivore community about this. There are two camps of carnivores and both of them are right. There's one camp that says you don't need organ meats to get by on the carnivore diet and that your muscle meats are perfectly fine for you and you get all the nutrients that you need out of them. That's true. And then there's another group that says you do need to eat nose to tail and you do need your organs. I'm in the second group just because of my body type. There are people out there that are gifted like Sean Baker and a few others who don't really need to eat organ meats. If they want to, they have them for every once in a while for a treat or for just to pep themselves up or whatever. But for the most part, they can eat just muscle meats. They can eat whatever cut of meat they want and they have a good time with it. And that's great. And they're healthy and they're beautiful and they're awesome. But then there's the camp like me that are pretty much metabolically damaged through past diet and also through genetics, which I am both, who actually need a little bit of help. And I started off eating the organ meats when I first started because I knew that I was depleted in nutrients because of all the things that have happened to me over the years, gut issues and the like, lots of like just stuff that I don't need to go into in this video. But yeah, just I knew that I was nutrient deficient. So for the first year, I did religiously eat organ, I ate liver and heart every day. And I ate them raw. You will not find me eating any other organs except for maybe bone marrow and bone broth and things like that because I'm an American and even liver and heart to me are disgusting. At least heart doesn't stink up your kitchen if you do choose to cook it. But I have found through experimentation that I can't cook any of this stuff. It's disgusting. So I just eat it raw. And yeah, that's pretty much socially taboo in America as well. We don't like people eating raw meat of any sort, especially organ meats, which are the grossest. But I'm telling you, it has been a lifesaver for me. And I have had to, by choice and by just out of sheer convenience, abstained from eating organ meats for as much as a month or two. And trust me, my body does not like it very much. I have to start supplementing at least with vitamin C. Otherwise, I get kind of sick. And amongst other things, organ meats, especially liver and adrenal glands and things like that, they really provide a lot of vitamin C. And vitamin C is heat soluble and water soluble. So the best way to get that stuff from your meat is to eat your meat raw. So every day I incorporate some type of raw meat in my diet, and I also try not to overcook my meat. I try to keep it very rare. There are accidents in the kitchen. Nobody's perfect. And I don't waste my food if I overcook it. But I do try to eat raw meat on a side as well, especially if something has been cooked, or we do eat on occasion fish and poultry. So I have a little bit of raw beef with that and or raw organ meats. The purpose of this video, though, is to help those of you who are on the carnivore journey or are just curious. And you need organ meats and the little dried pills and stuff. Oh, let me tell you guys, that's not enough. It's going to help a little bit, but they're not enough. I mean, you could take them and spend the money if you like. But really, you do need to just eat the real thing if you can, even if it's just chicken liver or something like that. So what I'm going to show you is I eat beef liver, and I also eat beef heart, and I eat beef heart the same way. I have cooked it, but to me, it's just best raw. And so that's what this next clip is going to be. It's going to be me showing you what I do. I'm not going to actually eat it in front of you because I don't want to gross people out, but I do want to show, you know, what it is that I do and explain that to you. And hopefully this will help you in this, you know, it's all in best intentions. And I'm pretty sure all my vegetarian and vegan peeps out there aren't even watching this video. So I know if you're a carnivore and you're doing carnivore van life or any of that kind of stuff that has to do with carnivore, that this video will most likely help you. So stick around, and here it is. Okay, so as I said, I eat raw liver, and to spare you guys like the grossest part, I'm not going to show you what I do, but I will describe. I cut it up into little pieces. As you can see, they're little tiny chunks here. I got this in my little bowl. And this is probably about, I would say, 1/4 to 1/2 cup. And this is basically what I eat, you know, every morning. Sometimes I'll do it twice a day, but most of the time I do it once a day. And I just, when the liver is still slightly frozen and you can get it out of the package, that's when it's the best time to cut it up, when it's still a little bit frozen. Yeah, your fingers are going to get cold, but it's so much easier than trying to do it like I had to do today, where it was already thawed out and it's just slimy and it's hard to keep a hold of. And another thing too is to make sure you have a really, really sharp knife and a good cutting board to do this. Otherwise, it's going to be a pain in the butt all the way around. And so what I do, like I say, is see how small these chunks are? I try to chop them up, you know, this small or smaller. And then what I do is I drown this stuff in salt. You know, not like a whole bunch of salt, but enough to where, you know, it's pretty salty. And then I take little spoonfuls of it, like about this big, and I swallow it with water, like a pill. So I don't have to taste it or eat it as much. And well, I do taste it, but it's not, you know, that bad. And like the texture is just disgusting. I have tried to cook liver over the years and eat it. I cannot stand it. I've mixed it with hamburger. I have done everything I could think of, and I can't tolerate spices and onions, and I don't put batter on stuff because I can't do flour. And we're going to be talking more about my diet, you know, over the videos, but I just, yeah, for those of you out there who can't stand liver and really need to eat it, this is the way to go. Cut it up into little chunks and then swallow it like a pill. And just, you know, if you have to, douse it in a whole bunch of salt. This is the way I do beef heart as well. I chop it up into little pieces and just swallow it whole. I don't even try to cook it. Although you can cook beef heart in hamburger and things like that, and it actually tastes halfway decent. It doesn't have a really gross, disgusting taste like liver does. And it doesn't stink up your house. But for the most part, when I do eat heart, I just do it the same way. And sometimes I'll mix them together. And I know this sounds really gross, but if you don't have the facility to absorb your vitamins like everybody else, you just have to take more. And you have to really be cautious on how much you cook your meat and things like that. And now that I am eating cooked meat, I try to incorporate raw liver and or raw meat every single day in my diet still, even though I do a lot of cooked stuff because I could tolerate that now. But yeah, this is like the best way to go. And I have found that putting liver in, and I know all you guys that are environmentally conscious are going to hate me, but putting liver in a Tupperware or some type of container and reusing it, for me, it doesn't work. It starts to ferment because liver has a little bit of carbohydrate in it. I don't know if anybody like taught you guys that, but a lot of sugar goes into the liver. So that's basically where I get my carbohydrates. I don't get it from plants or anything like that. Most of the sugar that I eat, or pretty much all the sugars that I get, come from the meats that I eat, like the meats and the eggs. And a lot of it comes from liver. And that's probably another good way for me to get it because I can tolerate it that way. But it starts to get kind of icky and just not tasting good, and after a while it'll spoil if you put it in something like a Tupperware. For some reason, I guess you can't get all the air out of it, and so like it'll just kind of go bad faster. So in order for my liver to last longer, I make sure that I chop it up while it's still frozen so all the blood stays in there, or B, I make sure that I save the blood and pour it in if I have to chop it up when it's thawed out like I did today. But yeah, you want to make sure that you put it in a nice freezer baggie, like a heavy-duty Ziploc freezer baggie, and then squeeze out all the air. Because it just helps it to last longer. It just preserves it, especially if you're on the road and you're living in your van or you're on a camping trip and you have to keep this in a cooler. It is even more vitally important to make sure that you can squeeze as much oxygen and air out of this as possible. So putting this in a container, unless you have one of those kind that you could suck it all the air out of it, you know, those vacuum pack ones, which is a pain in the butt because my sister-in-law has those. I really don't recommend those anyway, but you know, those would be the only real alternative. I have tried every kind of container you can think of, including stainless steel, and it just doesn't work. You really do need to keep your raw liver in a baggie, unfortunately. Or just eat it all, but I don't want to eat it all at once. I can't handle it. So I do a little bit every day like this, just chopped up, and I put it in a little bowl, and I just take it with water. Alright, you guys, that was my little disgusting video on how I eat liver. Hopefully you got some information out of it. Hopefully it was at least entertaining. And yeah, and just like I said before, this channel is all about me, Sarah Tree, and this is the weird stuff that I do. And if you like it, come along for the ride. If not, well, there's plenty of van life channels out there for you. And yeah, we got some really cool stuff coming up, and I hope you guys stick around. And yeah, thank you so very much for watching, and have an awesome day. Talk to you next time. Bye.